So if you're just tuning in as we move towards 2023 and the elections, PK has just shattered my heart. We're trying to paint a picture of what the role of financial empowerment will play on decision making as regards decision making in 2023. All right, so please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WeShow, or send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Okay, Uti, I'll come to you, then I'll come to you, Jennifer. Uti, you wanted to say something before we went on a break?
I'm always very excited when people like PK, in fact, PK in particular, is on the show. Because you just come and you help me to articulate in a way that I always say on the show. So let me ask you, maybe you can put it in a way that everybody can join me on this book. Two things. When we talked about options, I've shared in the past my thoughts around democracy and whether it actually works in this climate. And when I hear you talk about options and, when you're speaking, all I could hear at that point is, what is the alternative? Because when you now bring it forward and come to, it's prayer point. I say this all the time on the show. You can't give what you don't have. I watch people on the streets every day, breaking basic rules like traffic lights. Just doing things in general in a way that gives me cause and pause. So I ask myself, what exactly is it that it is going to take? So when I see somebody like you, PK, who studies trends and proposes models of the future, you've literally just snapped the small existence I had left in terms of how we are going to get to a future point.
PK, for PK to say it's prayer point.
Is it education? You say it's not education. You say it's an ideology. Please help me find something I can hold on to. Because the little one I was holding on to,
you just shattered it.
I hear you. There are plenty of things about what I said. I think you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I get it. Good to see you, first of all, Uti. And, I hear you, and I'm where you are a lot of times. You see, the idea of education itself interesting. The way I define education is not information, and it's not just about knowledge. It is about how to understand the emergence of options and how to own it. So I define education as the ability of the human mind or the human soul or the human life to experience its environment, one, to question it deeply enough to find the options that exist in it, two, and to know which of those options to embrace as a matter of supreme importance and urgency. I'll say it again. Education is the ability of the human life to experience its environment, to question it deeply enough to find the options that exist in it, and then to know the ones to embrace as a matter of supreme importance and urgency. By that definition, a lot of people are not educated, even at a PhD level. Why? Because they've passed the test of academics, not of consciousness. And that test essentially is the ability to question your environment and find the options that exist in it. That is the education we lack. Now, that's not from the classroom, right? That is from how we manage society. And that comes down to the consciousness, the personal social responsibility beyond CSR, the PSR of the average Nigerian or the average African. Now, that's a long-term view. I hate to do this, but there is no part of the renaissance, or let's say the transformation that we seek as a people, that is going to be short-term, right? Nigeria will be transformed. I believe that very strongly, but it's a long journey. It's longer than a marathon, right? We are talking about nothing less than like 30 years. We are dealing with a 30 to 50-year commitment, not from the government. I've said it time and again. I don't know any nation that developed critically because its government was right. I really don't know that. I think people have to learn to take responsibility. That's why I believe in advocacy groups, non-profits, than I believe in political parties. Because I think when we learn to organize society in a direction and give people the type of options they need, founded on a level of consciousness, we can build that. But that's not the 2023 game. That is not a 2010, 2030 game. That is like a 2050 game. And people have to be ready to see victory beyond the attention and rewards that come to their own name. we have to understand that victory at a level must be transgenerational, where the best you can do is to make a contribution. Those that will finish the job are yet unborn, or they are still 5 years old and 10 years old today. And I say that when you see any nation-building effort anywhere, and you miss 10-year-olds in that, people tell me they are building the future. They're not talking to any 10-year-old. They're not talking to any 20-year-old. Let me give you a simple number right now. If you play a 30-year game, add 30 years to anybody living anywhere in the world today. 30 years. If you are 70, you'll be 100. If you are 60, you'll be 90. If you are 50, you'll be 80. So anybody age 50 to 70 in 30 years will be at the departure lounge of life, ready to take the flight, right? And then if you come down to that guys who are 40, if you are 40, you are 70 in 30 years. If you are 30, you are 60. If you are 20, you are 50. If you are 5, you are 35. So 30 years is enough. When you are talking about tomorrow's leaders, you are talking about the 10-year-olds today, the 5-year-olds today, the 15-year-old today who will be 45 in 30 years' time. So if you roll a 30-year game, and we know by research and numbers that the guys who are by 2050, a lot of reality will change. Everybody you know in the world today, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Buhari, go on, and I'm not trying to, even in the church, name pastors in their 70s. In 30 years, if they have not gone, they will be at the departure lounge of life, and it's not a curse. It's just the sting of nature, the idea that all human life will expire at some point. And 30 years' time is that everybody that is 60 and above will be very old and ready to go if they have not gone in 30 years. So there is a hubris there. Today's nation builders must look at that as an opportunity. Because whether we like it or not, all of the people you don't like in politics today
will be gone.
are all going in 30 years' time. Some of the people you even like are also going in 30 years' time. So how are we grooming the next generation who are going to come in there? The problem is corruption does not have a classroom, right? It only models. But wisdom must have a classroom because it must be taught. Because every positive energy must be curated. Negative energy is an embarrassment of nature. So whether we like it or not, people are going to learn corruption naturally. So if we don't teach the young people, we know what they are going to learn. So we have to go out of our way. And when we are saying young people, please, I'm not talking of 20-year-olds or 25-year-olds. We're talking of 15, 10, 5. Open, right? And guess what? And I hate to say this, nobody is contending with who teaches those ones. When everybody is fighting, even the political, everybody is fighting for 20-something-year-olds and 18 and above
they can vote
because
now.
they can vote and all of that. So that is where the work is. And we have to take that kind of commitment to begin to think about that. And the political class, when they think and they know that, you know, even when you talk to some of the people in politics, they want Nigeria to be better as well. They just don't know how they are going to defeat their own righteousness to make it happen. Or they really want it to happen. So by the time you are camping around 5-year-olds, well, we will not be here. They can't even support you to do that. So let's be more pragmatic and let's be more realistic. Anger is not a strategy. You can't solve anything, you know, significant in 2023. However, I predict that there are permutations beyond human reasoning in 2023. It's not going to be business as usual. I say that as a futurist. Based on trends on ground, all kinds of sentiments and prejudices we see on ground, I know that 2023 is not going to be business as usual. Will it give Nigeria the change we want? No. Will it spark something usable 10, 20 years down the line? I believe so very strongly. Okay. And that's where I come.
You know, when everyone said that you took away the last shred of hope that they had, for me, it didn't do anything for me because I've actually not had any hope for 2023. I'm not expecting a drastic change. I'm not expecting that everything that we are experiencing now is going to just all of a sudden get like maybe 15% better or something like that. And I will tell you why. In February, if I'm right, yes, in February, I was having a conversation with a friend and then I asked him a question. And I said, between candidate A and candidate B, these two people have ruled before. Who would you vote for? And he says candidate B. And I said, why? He said, because candidate B is a lesser evil. And I said, what about candidate C and D? What happened to them? And he goes, oh, I feel like if I vote for candidate C or D, my vote will not count. And I was like, Now guess what? If we have 1,000 people in Nigeria, about 800 of those people are thinking like you. Now, if all 800 people decide to vote for candidate B, who you think is the lesser evil, now even out of that 800, you still have maybe half of that or less than half of that who are going to still vote for candidate A. And then you're leaving candidate C and candidate D out there in the open. You've never seen them work before, you've never seen them in power before, but you keep voting for the same people who were there 10 years ago, 20 years ago, because you think candidate B is a lesser evil. Why? And he had nothing to say. And I was like, okay, now you see where the problem is. If you, as a grown adult, you're thinking like this, what about the people out there in the masses who are not even educated, who don't know so much about politics?
Can we expand that a bit, though?
Yes, please.
So part of that will be that it is not really the job of that gentleman to really be, because the options have to emerge first. The reason why he thinks he will waste his vote, there's a science to that. He doesn't think that gentleman, that group of people, or that candidate B and C and D have come to his consciousness as a force. Now, that is the responsibility of candidate C and D. That is not the candidate, because when you go to the market, you only buy what is available on the stand. So the problem now is that we get to the stand and this particular, we don't even see the product, right? And it's not even visible. So the issue is when you talk to candidates C and D, and I think I have an idea of those candidates over the years.
I do.
There is a serious underrated.
They're not serious.
They
Actually,
are
they are not serious.
No, I didn't say they are serious. I'm saying there is serious underrating of the Nigerian problem.
Yeah.
Because when I speak to young people, they say they want to be Nigeria's president, and the way they talk, I know these people don't even understand Nigeria.
They don't even understand the problem.
Complexity of being Nigeria's president. It doesn't come with zeal. Zeal cannot make you Nigeria's president.
Yeah.
There's a lot of forces you are going to contend with. You're not going to wish your way into Nigeria's presidency.
It's not, you cannot speak your way into
You're not going to speak your way. You're not going to do all of that. You are going to have to generate force because there's a balance of power that is required. And it requires capacity on all ends, right? So you can't use there's no sympathetic resonance that will take you there. What will take you there is to demonstrate that you have a force. You are a force to be reckoned with. It means that you can galvanize a people, rally around an idea. That requires not just philosophy or ideology, money, relationships, right? Because if you look behind you and there's a lion there, and for whatever reason, you assume it's a cat, you're just going to be strolling, and the lion is just going to eat you up. When you look behind you and it's a lion, even if he's sleeping, you need to know that it's a lion. Even if he's dead, you need to know that it's a lion. The problem with young people, when I see the zeal in politics, is that when they look back at Nigeria, they call it a chicken or a cat. Meanwhile, it's a ferocious lion ready to devour anything.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah, I'm sure that there are candidates who have come forth and then they've tried their best, but then there are always forces working against them. How do we want them to find their way or fight their way to the top? So
that is a constant. Resistance is a constant. You are not supposed to be shocked that you are being resisted. You're supposed to factor into your ambition in the first place. It's not when you come out, you're not resisting. Why are they resisting? Of course, would they just give you the crown and say become president? So you're supposed to anticipate resistance. The question should not be to me. It should be to him. That what plan did you have for resistance?
God will bless
because
you.
Resistance will come.
So, Piki, we have like 10 minutes to go, or rather 8 minutes, or maybe 7. The middle class is weakened financially right now, and it's getting bad. It's getting worse, in fact, because, the value of your money, even in 2018, it was way better than even if you have the same money, it's lesser now due to the inflation, economics, and all of that. So how can we strengthen the middle class economically? Because you see, whether we like it or not, decision making, yes, I know 2023, we will make a statement in 2023. We might not win, but we'll make a statement. But how do we even strengthen that middle class economically? Middle to low class, to empower us economically for, better political decisions in the future.
Yeah, I guess when you say we, you meant we the people.
Yes, we the people. No, not you, though. Everybody.
We the people.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get you. quite frankly, when I said prayer point, I really mean it. And I didn't say that because I just wanted to, depress anyone. It is because as a person, when I'm confronted with issues that transcend logic or objective reasoning, we pretty much rise to a higher power and call for help. Quite frankly, those who think that we have prayed enough about Nigeria don't understand Nigeria's problem. We have not prayed enough. But enterprise, though, we play a big role there. And that is why I said that I respect entrepreneurs, innovators, advocates, non-profit leaders. I respect them and believe in them as the promise of change for Nigeria or Africa than I do in politicians. I think politicians will dance to whatever it is we offer. You see, politicians didn't build America. The private sector did. And there's a documentary for that, The Men Who Built America. They're businessmen. The idea is to be so innovative and compelling with your ideas that it pretty much aligns, because I also talked about mentoring evil. If you get so powerful and so wise, and evil that you hate cannot find you inspiring to defer to your wisdom, you're probably not ready to work. And that's the problem with good people. So I think entrepreneurs will play a good role if they create capacity. Innovators will play a good role. And at the end of the day, that is where the socioeconomic transformation we seek resides. It is in our entrepreneurs and in our innovators and how they can think and solve problems, demonstrable human problems in society, solve them in a way society can be grateful for. We have to teach our people to accept responsibility for big ideas, to take big visions. And in a world that is borderless with technology, there's so much we can do in the world today. And when we begin to think of that, we can help people more with more options economically. It's a symposium discussion, but
yeah. I'm going to come to Uti and Jennifer, just hear your 1 minute, but I just wanted to say that for me, I believe so strongly in what you've said about entrepreneurs, because you know why? If I alone can hire maybe 50 people in my employ, and every day we're doing the work of, educating, re-engineering their minds and all of that, what do you think will happen to my employers? Jennifer hires another 50, another person. So if we empower the entrepreneurs, the middle class, definitely that journey you talked about, maybe a 30 years or a 50 years, we can shrink that thing to maybe a 15-year plan.
I agree.
But you see, that's why most times when you see the attack, it always goes to that middle class, because the government knows. I mean, my staff in the office, they know that they cannot just vote for anyhow person. You must have a vision for the person you're voting for. Just imagine if we have multiple numbers, millions of entrepreneurs doing the same thing. It will shorten our journey. Yeah. But let me come to Uti, your final take, then I'll come to Jennifer.
I'm out of words. Literally, I'm out of words because, and I guess this is for me the thing that always comes to me when I think about Nigeria, the future. Like I said, I've written up 2023 in my mind. This long game, do we have the capacity to play? Whether it's 15 years, whether it's 30 years, whether it's 50 years. I think I've said it on the show before. I intend to live a full, long, rich life, but I'm not sure that I'll see the Nigeria of my dreams. And PK has just sort of validated that thought, that where we're going in this game called Nigeria, we're still missing the wood for the trees though, because who's talking to the 5-year-olds? Who's talking to the 10-year-olds? Nobody's concerned at this point. In fact, the educational sector degraded to an extent where the population of those 5 and 10-year-olds and 15-year-olds that are being educated today is abysmal. So we're in a vicious cycle. So I agree with you. Everybody get on your knees.
And go on the higher power.
Open your Bible, open whatever your faith will say, and just
go on the higher power. Jennifer,
let me give Peter the last why do we always say pray? But at this point, that's all we got.
Jennifer.
I agree with everything PK has said, and he has actually opened my mind to a lot of things that it has actually got me thinking, which I feel like when I get back home, I would have like serious conversations with people around me, because it's not a one-man thing. We all have to come together, all hands on deck. We have to work together to achieve this. We know that it's not going to happen in 2023, but we still hope for the best regardless. Because even if you plan to leave this country and run away, you still have family back here.
PK, because we have 1 minute. One. Oh yeah, what are you going to say to
I
us?
believe Nigeria is a child of destiny, and I believe the universe works for us in ways that is not considered when we analyze and we break down, what our legacy would be, as a nation. I'm confident that somehow the elements are working in our favor, and beyond our thinking, beyond our logic and objective reasoning, there are solutions that are running towards Nigeria, even if you are not running towards it. And that destiny will find us somehow.
Absolutely. Okay, he has given us a bit of hope. Thank you so much, PK. We hope to bring you over and over again. All right, so Ways was birthed from the need to inform, inspire, and influence lives towards action. And this year, we started our CSR focused on curbing unemployment in Nigeria. So if you're a company, please partner with us by allocating internship slots. And if you're a job seeker, keep watching Ways and follow us on all our social media handles, as this will be an all-year-round engagement. So tell your friends to keep all eyes on Ways. In case you missed today's quote, here it is again. The vote is precious. It is the most powerful, non-violent tool we have in a democratic society, and we must use it. But PK has also told us that it is the options that matter. So you must go to where those options will emerge from. All right, we'll see you live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.